So here we are at the beginning of the journey with my Corvette, and I just wanted to log what I'm going to be doing to it from here on out. This is my 1975 Corvette. It's an L48 350, 165 horsepower, 4-speed manual transmission, and I bought this in 2011 with my first paycheck as a professional, and it's been sitting in my backyard for many years. And I decided last year to kind of pull it out and start working on it. It used to be gold in color. It was painted before. It was missing the front and the rear. Well, actually I took the rear off because I didn't like it because it had the wing on it. And I bought it out of Las Vegas. I'm in Idaho, and so it's a pretty rust-free frame. Has a great frame on it, solid foundation. And just to update you a little bit about what I've done with this car so far. One, this summer as I got it out, I changed the wheels. It used to have these old rally wheels on it. They were in great condition. I just like the look of these better. These are staggered, 17 on the front, 18 on the back, and it gives it more of a different stance. I put a spoiler on it this year. I bought a front bumper and started fiberglassing that in. I bought a rear bumper off of a 74, but it was fiberglass. And so I'm filling in the 74 fake split line. And then I sanded all of this in 2011, and it's just been sitting in my backyard. I kind of ruined it when I sanded it because I used a disc sander and it's made it uneven. So now I got to go back and smooth it all out. Other things that I've done with it are I recently purchased these Porsche Boxster seats, and am currently installing those in. I got rid of the standard seats. I put a smaller steering wheel on it. I also fiberglassed in these 1994 mirrors. I had a fiberglass in this base for them. I'm gonna put, I'm deleting the locks so it has electric locks. I have a box of those over here. And what else have I done? I've had to do the brakes a couple times. Got it running, runs good. I bought a new hood so I can, there's the original hood. I bought this hood to practice with because I'm thinking about putting these vents in it. So I decided to begin logging what I'm doing with this car because today is a kind of a big thing that's going to start taking place with it, and it begins here. This summer I bought this 1992 Corvette LT1 engine. I bought a painless wiring harness that's back there. On top of the harness I bought a 1994 Camaro ECM, and I sent it off to Tempe Speed and Performance, and they flashed it for me, deleted VATs, and got it ready to connect so it can just hook up to the engine and start. And today I sold my L48 that's in it and the 4-speed that's in it. And so the next 3 or 4 days I'm gonna work on taking those out so I can deliver those to the gentleman that bought them. And right now what I gotta do is, it has a full tank of gas in it because I've been driving it in this condition this whole summer. I put 3,500 miles on it, and I just barely put a new tank of gas in it. So before I start taking the engine out, I gotta go drive it to empty the tank, and then the journey begins. now when I'm at, so here's the interior. I've had it all in pieces for 10 years and I just barely put it together. The power steering doesn't work. Right now at highway cruising speeds, to go 80 is like 3,700 RPM. And my goal with this car, well, how about I talk about that one? So now I've gone 130 miles. I've kind of lowered the gas down a little bit. Have probably 8 more gallons left. But before I can start pulling the engine, what I've got to do first is this engine crane. This is my dad's that I'm borrowing. It's a 2-ton. Mine died last year. And I think I can buy a new reservoir for it, but it's just, rather than getting the jack, I would rather just get rid of it because I need that metal to build something on this stand. This engine stand I bought used, I think a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was going to support this LT1 engine, and then when I released the crane, the back plate, the supporting plate just kind of warped into a tinfoil daily bob. So it's not going to hold it. So what I'm going to do is cut that one up right now and then make a brace to come up and hold the engine by the engine mounts. And then I can slide that out of the way, and then this will free me up. And so then tomorrow after work, I can start taking the engine out of the Corvette. And what's funny about this is you always watch these reality shows where they have a time crunch and you're like, man, these guys kind of make up this time crunch. But my time crunch is kind of real now. So I have, today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I'm getting rid of the engine on Saturday. So this is going to be fun because I've never taken anything out of a Corvette before. I don't know how it's going to go. I've watched a few videos on it, and I'm hoping those are going to be enough. The hope was that I could finish my garage and get the ceiling insulated before winter comes in, because it's time for winter here in Idaho. But this kind of just came about, and I'm more excited about this than finishing the garage. So this evening is going to be spent fixing this. And I kind of thought that making a video and like a history or journaling of this, vlogging of this, was going to be kind of weird, but actually it's a little bit more natural than it should be because I'm always talking to myself with my arm straight out anyway. So this should go pretty good for tonight, so you guys can kind of see it's going to be made poorly, but you can see what I'm going to be trying to support that with. So because I'm kind of on a time crunch, I think how I'm going to approach this is to work my way backwards. So I'm going to start here at the mount and just cut those tabs off right there. I'm going to cut those tabs off, use those for the mounts, and then weld a bar across here on the bottom. I'll weld some supports up. I think I'm going to weld some supports up, connect this bar to that bar lengthwise, and then I'll ladder the two vertical supports to give them some strength, and maybe ladder them over to that support, but then I won't be able to turn the engine. But if I'm not able to turn the engine, it doesn't really matter. This was a $30, I think I paid $30 for this engine stand. And this is kind of just maybe my LT1 engine stand after this point. I guess the small block Chevys all are the same, so it doesn't hurt too bad. So I will start by cutting these tabs off and I took this thing out. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right there. And then I will cut that, lay it this way, and then measure down. So, halftime report. I changed my mind again. So I cut these out. I'm gonna have these tabs. I made a 1/2 inch slant, cut it out so I could access the bolt over there. I'm gonna put these tabs just like this. I'm gonna weld that bar in the middle, and these are pretty thick, and so I just decided to use the inner tube. I'll weld those up like this, maybe like that. Give it a little bit of a slant, and then they will go and catch the engine. Hope it works, I guess. These tubes are a little bit wider. These are 2.5. That's 2 inches, and that's 2 inches. So it's not gonna look great, but it will function. It's gonna function okay. Some things up a little bit, mainly because I'm almost out of gas, and so this is gonna work. It is all released, all relaxed on the chain now. It is semi-sturdy. I think it's gonna hold. I need to release the chain, so let's see if we can do that. I need to bring it down just a smidge more. So it's off now, and this frees up our engine hoist for tomorrow. So now I can, fantastic. So now I can take apart my engine tomorrow. So day 2 coming up. I'm glad this little project's over. I feel like it's gonna do the trick. And if I beef it up a little bit, so now what I need to do is ladder it and support it there, and maybe connect it back to the main beam. The plate is no more, not flexed anymore. And I'm still wondering why I'm doing all of this.